welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited and so honored that I get to talk with the fabulous Maisey Yates. I got to meet you for the first time last year at WA and I was shaking, I was so nervous. I was like, she raised my Cowboys. And so I'm still a little fangirling at you, but it's okay.
It's totally okay because but it makes me want to fangirl back a little bit.
At me?
Like, yes, because it's like there's nothing more exciting than like somebody who likes your books and you're like, I'm a fan of you.
Just a little bit.
I'm a fan of who you are as a human being.
I mean, but you're adorable too. I mean, you were talking about knitting on the elevator. She's talking about how she knitted this amazing.
Yes, I did. I knitted this. I'm a novice knitter, but this was my first big project, and it was really fun and really exciting.
I was like the multi-talented Maisey Yates. Like, you gotta be reading her books, and now you gotta like admire her fashion sense.
Yeah, follow me on Ravelry.
Yeah. Are you on there?
I am. I'm on Ravelry and it's super fun because it's just like knitting pictures. So it's like.
I was like, I follow you everywhere else.
Yarn porn, so it's all good.
Are you on Pinterest then?
I am so on Pinterest and Spotify. You can follow me on Spotify as well, where I have playlists for all my books. So I have all that stuff.
I didn't know you did that.
I do, yeah.
How did I not know that?
Well, it's because mostly I do it for me, but like if people kind of ask, I'm like, go ahead and follow me on Spotify. I have like tons of playlists, and I do like playlists for all my books. And
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Follow you on Twitter and Instagram, and I've never needed this playlist.
Yeah, it's because I just kind of like, I'm kind of like under the radar on those platforms, I think. In that, like, I'm not, like, they're just kind of for me, they're for fun, but I am totally cool with people who are interested, like, follow me on it. So.
That's kind of nice though that you do this just for you, because I feel as if a lot of people will always try and do something where it's like, oh, we gotta make this work somehow in a way.
Yeah, I'm very not like, I don't know. I just like showing up and like being myself. You know, I'm not inclined toward like being like, how do I make this like a bigger, like
a market,
monetize it? Yeah. You know, that's not really my jam. I'm like, I've got to enjoy it. Yeah. You know, I've got to enjoy what I'm doing because you like time is at a premium for all of us. So it's like life's too short to spend time doing things you don't want to do.
I was like, speaking of time, nature, I was like, your time is very valuable because there are a lot of books associated with your time.
Yes, it's true. I write a lot.
I don't know how you do it. I'm so impressed because you're so prolific. I mean, what does your typical writing day look like?
So people don't believe this, but I waste a lot of time.
I mean, it's hard to believe because I'm like, you look so productive over here.
Well, I'm very disciplined. Like, I budget my words, so I know how many words I have to write every day in order to hit my deadline. So I've never missed a deadline in 9 years of being published, which I think is kind of unusual.
Yeah.
And that's not to say, I mean, things happen, people miss deadlines. That's not like but it's for me, you know, that's something that I'll go through the calendar, but I don't work weekends. I have 5 days a week and budget out my time. Do I have to write 1,200 words a day to finish the book, 3,000 words a day to finish the book, whatever's happening with the schedule. I'm gonna have to go home and write a fast book, so it's gonna be 5,000 a day. But I know that going in. And also before conference, I took like 2 weeks off. So everything's kind of planned out. So I know when I can take time off. I know when I need to work. I know, you know, that even if I spend half the day goofing around, it's like, well, you have to write 3,000 words today, so you have to do that at some point. So if you're cramming between 2 and 5 to get it done, 3 and 5 to do 3,000 words, you're gonna have to do that. So it's like, it's a very, that works for me, and I'm competitive with myself too. So I'll do like timers and stuff, because my attention span is actually really crappy. I'm like, just focus for like 10 minutes, you know, and we set a timer, or 25 minutes. 25 minutes is hard for me, and I'll be like, I want to check my email. And then I'm like, it's 25 minutes, Yates. Come on, suck it up. Like, work. And I'm like, okay, you're right, me. Like, I'm not gonna, so like, I'll get in like competition with myself where it's like, it has to be done. And so I'm always like, my entire career basically functions on how much I can trick myself into doing things and like how much I can shame myself into doing it. I'm like, come on, like you have no attention span, get it done. So it's like, and I'm very competitive with me. So it's like, yeah, it's all, I
was like, you made it work though.
It does, it works. So it's like, it sounds a little bit, you know, crazy, I guess, but it's like you know, it works and it motivates me, and I like knowing what has to be done, so you don't get into that space where there's like a panic of like there's so much work to do, because oftentimes it's actually not as much work as it seems. And I kind of came around to that concept through Nano, which I don't do, but it's like the concept is that 1,600 words a day and you can write a 50,000 word book in 30 days. So it's like, you know, you break it down like that and you're like, that's not that intimidating.
Yeah.
And so to me, taking it in pieces like that is the way to kind of get it all done.
So do you Edit as you go, or do you wait until the first draft's done, then go back?
You know, so I've written over 100 books, and I would say that like it shifts, you know. I used to very much write what I would consider a complete, like, edit as not super huge editing, but unless I was happy with where I was at, I couldn't move on. And I dictate now, which requires a lot more time spent in the editing process, because there's going to be errors and like homonym issues and things like that. And so what I was doing was like I would dictate a chunk and then edit. And sometimes I dictate not sitting at my desk. So I'll go for a walk and dictate into a watch. I'll ride a bike, dictate into my phone, or I'll drive and dictate. Which is great because then I can't like look at the computer.
Yeah.
And you can't edit as you go. And so, but as I started doing that, my process shifted. So what I would do sometimes is edit a chunk at the, kind of get the words out first, then spend the rest of the day editing. And like over the last year, it shifted to where I do that for about the first half of the book.
Yeah.
And then the last half, it's like I just have to get it down. So I'll write the last half very, very, very quickly. Like very quickly. Like it basically takes me like a quarter of the time to write the last half of the book as it did the first. But it's like a disaster. Like it's so blah, 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 and like I just dictate it, and like I don't, it's very stream of consciousness, and then I go in and fix it, and I spend way more time on the editing side with this current process that I'm in. But it'll change again because, you know, that's, I think one of the secrets actually to writing a lot is not really that big of a secret, but people get very married to process, and at the point where your process no longer works for you, you've got to jump ship on that process. And you can change your process, and I think naturally it does shift, and there's a point where we resist that change, and at that resistance it feels really difficult because you're like, I'm struggling, it didn't used to work this way, why is it like this now? But if you just kind of surrender to it and say, it's okay, this is how the book is getting written. Like the only process that doesn't work is one that does not get the book written. Everything else is fair game. So yeah,
that needs to be tweeted shifting immediately. Like, when I go to edit, taking this, putting it in some sort of like Adobe Spark, like make this all fancy, because that is an amazing quote.
Thank you.
I mean, what made you decide though to start?
That was I was having serious tendon issues. It was actually my first book in the Copper Ridge series that ruined my hands forever.
Aww.
And it was strange because I didn't have to write that much a day. I was writing 1,800 words a day, which for me is not a huge word count, but I did it every day. I didn't take any weekends off, but I was like, oh, this is great. I'm just writing a few hours a day in the morning, and then I take the rest of the time off. But that constant, like use of my hands, like really, and I was writing, you know, 10, 11 books a year, and it's like, it's too much. It is too much, but it's like my creativity wasn't affected. But when I was dreading sitting down to work because I was in so much pain, and I went on a trip to London, and I took like 2 weeks off, and I thought, that's great, my hands will be fine when I sit back down, and they weren't. And I was 26 or 27, and I just remember thinking, I'm gonna have to get tendon surgery before I'm 30. And if I intend to move on in this industry, I was very new to it, you know, I'd been published for maybe 4 years, and I knew I don't want to slow down, I don't want to write less stories, I'm having fun. And for me, it's always been like, as long as people have that level of interest, I'm going to keep doing it because I enjoy it, the interest is there. You know, it may not always be.
Hey, so I'm going to keep reading your book. You know,
so I'm always like, make hay while the sun shines, you know? Like, if the opportunity's there, take it. So I really, it was kind of it was a very desperate situation, and I didn't like dictating, it didn't feel natural to me, but I was like, this is more important to me to learn this, you know, and I want to for my health. I don't want to need surgery, and so now I'm pain-free, and so that's, I've been dictating for like 5 years, so that's, yeah, and it really was a lifesaver.
Is there a certain software that you
I use Dragon Dictation. It's super buggy, it's not perfect, but it's the best out there. It's expensive, and it doesn't work perfectly, but you will not find a better software. I have tried, you cannot, so yeah.
Okay, the next question has to be, what is the best typo from Dragon Naturally Speaking that you found where you're like, I did not say that, that is wrong?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Like, it really like always thinks that we're like filling holes during sex scenes because there's a lot of caulk. A lot of that.
That is amazing.
So
I'm
like,
amazing.
well, that's not inaccurate, I suppose.
You're like, there's a euphemism in here in a way.
There is, like, but it's not what you want. So
like,
yeah, so that's a consistent one. That's good. Yeah.
Wait, consistent, like it comes up.
Like consistently, it comes out cold. And I'm like, you're a prude, Dragon. You know what I mean. you know. And then I just wrote a hero called Writer.
Okay.
And it made it writer every single time. So I had to find replace. It could not hear it from me.
Yeah.
So every so often you run into something like that with dictation, but that's actually easy because you can find replace. But I do that now. I'm like, let's look for calc because I'm sure it's in there.
That is amazing.
And no one's calking anything.
I mean, so you've been doing romance then for a long time.
Yes.
I mean, what made you decide to do romance out of all the genres?
I just love it as a reader. Like that, like beginning and end of it. I started reading Harlequin Presents and I was like, that is what I'm gonna write. That's what I want to write.
I mean, because you're across the board. When I
am, yeah.
You literally wrote what you've been reading.
Yes.
And then you have your Cowboys.
Yeah, and you know, the Cowboys were really interesting because that to me was like, that was such a timing thing in the best way. Because had I decided to branch out into contemporary even 6 months later, I would have been putting billionaires on submission because I started trying to write single title romance before 50 Shades of Grey came out and the market was very soft.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted contemporary romance. So whatever anyone thinks about that book, it reinvigorated that market.
Yeah.
But the only thing that existed was small town romance. And I am from a small town, and so actually it's much closer to my actual life than Harlequin Presents is. But so as a reader, I was reading these because they are not like my life, and they're high fantasy, they're fairy tales, and I really enjoyed them. And I had no interest in writing small town. I was like, I am bored with small towns. I live in small towns, and you know, it's been a really interesting thing because I wrote, this was, the series was the first series. There's 2 other books that come before that, but they're not in print. And I actually was at, I believe, the Harlequin party in New York 7 or so years ago. And some cowboy covers came up on the screen and I thought, maybe I'll write a cowboy because it seems like people are writing cowboys. And maybe that, because I was like, I can't sell these. I know I can't sell these because no one was doing that. And I knew there wasn't a market for that. And so I thought, oh, maybe I'll write a cowboy. And I saw a picture, it's true, I saw a picture online of this cowboy holding a saddle on his shoulder and he was shirtless and he was really handsome and I was like, he's my hero. And so I just thought of one book. I didn't think of a series. I didn't think that I would be a Western author. And but as I started writing it, I was like, I love this. I don't know why I thought I didn't want to do it. Like incorporating things from my life, I actually found that I loved. And so it was poles apart from what I was doing in terms of this all comes straight from my imagination. It's not, I'm not a billionaire. I don't know any billionaires. I had never been to New York when I wrote my first Presents and I wrote it set in New York. Like I had never been anywhere. And so it was all, you know, from my imagination, but then going into this subgenre where so much of it is actually from my own experience, I kind of did it backward to what a lot of people do. I was like, I don't want to, I want to play in my imagination. And then I went to something I know, and it's been very interesting because I think it's grounded me in my love for where I live in a really interesting way and has made me think about it in different ways, because to me it's normal to live in a town with 2,000 people that's got like a historic, you know, brick-lined street and all these kinds of things. It's a gold rush town. It is, it really is a Hallmark town, but I've lived there my whole life, and so you quit seeing it. And it's been very interesting to get to where you're like, people are interested in that. People think it's beautiful, and to look at it in a fresh way. So it's actually been such a gift to me to write those books. And I would have said that I didn't want to. And that's what I always tell people. I'm like, you don't actually know what you can do until you do it. Because people say, oh, I can't write that. That's not me. I don't write that. And I'm like, if you're a writer, you can write anything. The only limit is your imagination. So, and until you do it, you don't know if you'll love it. And I love all the things that I write. And so now I'm like, I just kind of charge in, like I want to expand, I want to try a new thing, because I didn't know that I would love writing small town Western, and I do. I love it so much. So it's like, that was kind of my little circuitous route into there, and it was all a timing thing.
I'm like, I'm so happy that worked out.
I am too. I'm so glad. I'm like, actually that lack of opportunity in billionaires was good for me, because it forced me to expand. And otherwise I would have been like, well, obviously that's the natural extension, you know? I would have been like, that's what I should be doing. And this forced me to think very differently about who I was as a writer, and it taught me new things.
Wow. Doing the math in my head, because you mentioned you were published when you were 26, and you've been reading these for a long time. So when did you start reading the Harlequin Presents?
Okay, I got published with Presents when I was...
No, when did you start reading? Because you said you were reading them.
Like when I was 21.
So you've been reading these I mean...
Like I was 23 when I got published for the first time. And
which is incredible, and congratulations.
Thank you. And so I was 20 or 21 when I started reading romance. My mom didn't read romance, so there was none around the house. My mom was raised in a house full of men. So she reads romance now because I gave it to her, but it was never around for her either. She had a single dad and she had brothers, so none of that was around for her. My mom's dad always read romance because she had 5 boys.
Wow.
And she had a house full of men, so she bought herself romance. So my grandma always had romance, but it was never around my house, so I was a very late comer to it. And so I picked one up for the first time, I think at like Goodwill or our book exchange, and it was a Harlequin Presents by Miranda Lee. And I remember being like, this is what I always wanted to be reading. Like, this is what every book that I read that had the tiniest bit of romance would always be my favorite. And I was like, there's a whole genre where that's all that's in there. And I read like 300 Presents in the first year that I started reading romance, and I was like, I'm obsessed and I need to write one. And I'd always written, but it was like I read a lot of like, you know, Harry Potter and like all that kind of middle grade and YA, and so I always thought that I would write that because that's what I was reading at the time, because I was young. And so that was like my predominant reading experience. And then but then I read those, I absolutely fell in love, and that was kind of, so it all kind of came in the same couple of years. I'm not as long time of a, like, I didn't start reading romance as early as most people, actually. Most people, I feel, start much earlier.
I love that, though. I mean, you found what you love and you stayed with it. But I also think it's really interesting to me, like, listening to that, is there's this sort of idea that, oh, you know, the little old granny with her glasses are reading these. And I was like, no. Like,
it's totally not true. Yeah. Because I was young picking them up. And, you know, that was a bit of time ago now, but, you know, it's 10 years. Yeah. 10 years since I was published, because I'm 33 now. So I'm like, it wasn't that long ago. I would say
you've done so much in that time. I was like, how?
My readers are, they totally run the age spectrum. I couldn't say oh, this is my reader. Because it's like, and it's very interesting. Harlequin did a study on readers. Yeah. And it was not divided by age. It's taste. Like, if you like this kind of thing, they would gravitate to this book. And it didn't matter if they were millennials or baby boomers. It doesn't matter. It's what you like. And there was no age division in that. It was, you know, there are a great many people in their 60s who love YA. It's taste, it's not age. So it's very interesting to me when people talk about you have to market this to millennials. It's like, well, I'm a millennial, I don't like that, you know? And it's like, and millennials are not all one thing, you know? And so it's like, it's not about that, it's about what you love. And so I think, and I've definitely seen that with readers, like, it's not one demographic, for sure.
I mean, my dissertation is on the romance genre fandom, so like I love hearing this to me because it's so fascinating, because that's part of what I'm studying. And one of the things I'm trying to answer is like, who is the fandom? And there is no like one answer.
No,
so this project's been taking on a life of its own.
Yeah, it's super interesting, and it's very like, I love that. I love how broad the readership is. You know,
I mean, you also have your Harlequin Presents, but then you have your Cowboy readers.
Yes, it's true.
Like, are they different demographics?
They're not different demographics, but they're different people.
Oh, so
the Presents readership is very international.
Oh, cool.
And they like what they like, and they are not super interested that I write Cowboys, because they know what they like. A category romance reader knows what she likes, because that is honed down to a very specific, you know what you're going to get. And I actually came into romance as a category reader, so I totally understand that reader, because it's me. It's like guaranteed that it's going to be sexy, that it's going to be angsty, that it's going to have a lot of emotion. And how do I know that? Well, I know I can read a Harlequin Presents. I know I can read a Harlequin Desire, and I'm going to get those things. And if I want a different thing, if I want suspense, I can read a Harlequin Intrigue. Like, so you really, it's like as advertised on the tin.
You were so meant to be with Harlequin. Like, that was so meant to be. I'm like, I'm so glad they signed you and like are publishing you. I'm like, you were meant to be Harlequin the way you're talking. Like, yes. I was like, they didn't pick you up, it would have been like their loss. Like, you were the best advocate for Harlequin right now. Because they did that, they're doing that Feels Good project or something. So they were going down the line asking people, I'm like, we should have sent the camera to you. Like, the way you're saying that, I'm like, yes, Harlequin.
One thing I love, and I will say about Harlequin, is they're very in touch with their reader. And they're very in touch with they reach past the internet. Oh, and that is very rare. I've written for a great many publishers, and they tend to source information from the internet. But that is only one kind. That really is only one slice of a demographic. Who is in stores? Who is too busy to be online? Because that's a lot of people. That's young mothers and single women who are doing, you know, their finals, and married women who are driving kids to soccer practice, and women who have really high-powered careers. They don't have time. Time to be on social media is a luxury. And I have it because I work at home. And I do have children, but it's a great way to ignore them. I'm just kidding. They're in school. And so it's like, you know, so to reach past that and to gain, to have meaningful interactions with people in a space away from that is very interesting, because when you talk about print books in physical retail stores, those people are not getting their information on who to buy necessarily from online. And Harlequin has done a fantastic job reaching out to readers beyond that space in a way that no other publisher I've worked with has ever done. And I mean, it's very, and it's great because they are spending money on our books. They are passionate readers, and and we should be giving them what they want too. So it's like, there's so many different kinds of romance readers. It's such a big genre, so you've got to reach them wherever they're at, you know? Yeah.
I mean, because it's so interesting to me, because there's something about going into bookstores, but they always put romance in the corner.
I know.
And so I'm kind of curious, like, how are you doing your research, Harlequin? Like, I want to find out more about this. I need to go. Like,
they've followed people on shopping trips. But romance, it's totally true.
That is amazing.
Romance is predominantly sold in grocery.
Yeah.
In Walmart, in Barnes, not in Barnes and Noble. So, so it's like that reader, that woman who's very busy.
So it's like while she's shopping at the grocery store, picking up her family's dinner for the week, she's also like, hey, Mary Jo Buttons
exactly.
over there.
and that like resonates with me because it's like, I'm very busy too. So like, can I get a book while I get milk?
Yeah.
Because who has time to take a dedicated trip to the bookstore? Again, time is a luxury, and many of us don't have that. So ebooks are fantastic for that because they're convenient, but a lot of people don't read ebooks, or they read both. So I would say that's, you know, so that reader is very important, and like, she's not necessarily tied in with the book community online. So how do you reach her, and how do you find out what she likes? Because I would say there's more of her than there are people in an online book community for sure. So
I'm like, I need to explore this further.
Yeah, so I think it's great that there's things happening in physical spaces, you know, so that people can.
Well, because you also have physical books too.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's and most of my readers buy physical books.
As I am demonstrating. I mean, this was, I think, the first book I actually bought from you, and again, there's something about Barnes & Noble with romance. This was in with the recent paperback publications. It wasn't in a romance section. It was on literally the second to bottom shelf.
Yeah.
I was on my hands and knees, like, getting it.
If it's alphabetical at Barnes & Noble too, I'm always like way down there.
Well, this was like their recent publication stand, so there was no real like order to it. But I saw the cover and I was on my hands and knees. I'm like, this is mine.
Yes, it's a great cover. That's one of my favorites.
After that.
That's awesome.
I was like, and then you just had me.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I found the paper copy first. For you. So I'm admitting that. I don't know if that factors into your research here.
Well, I mean, that's definitely been what I've found to be true. It's like, and actually when I hear from younger readers, that's 100% the way that it is. They're like, I was in Safeway and I was getting food to study for finals, and your book was there. And so I grabbed it.
I mean, you also have epic covers.
I do, and like that has been, I mean, that, I want to pick them up. I mean, the cover art is amazing, and I've had the same cover artist for across both series. With
really?
Yeah, all my HQN books, I have the same cover artist, and she's so phenomenal.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I give her so much credit for the fact that anyone ever picked up my books in the first place, because they were irresistible.
Are we going to be sending her like Christmas presents? Be like, thank you.
I love her. I'm always like, please love me forever. Please my favorite covers forever, because they're wonderful.
Like, you can never retire.
I have posters of this. I have a big poster of this on my wall.
I
imagine. Because
it's beautiful.
Amazing. It's so amazing.
I mean, I even love like the different fonts. This is maybe like overly analytical.
Yeah,
You have the yellow, then you have the white, and the different fonts. And her dress is the yellow and it matches. Like, I really got into like looking at this cover.
I told them, if you can give me a cover with a couple kissing in the rain, I'll write it into the story.
Did you really?
I had that cover before I wrote the book.
There was a YouTube thing called Kissing in the Rain, where it was like a little series of like recreations of couples kissing in the rain. Like, I love it when they're kissing in the rain. There's something to that.
It is.
So when I saw it like that as the cover, I'm like, you got me. I'm like, I'm here for this. But that made me so happy. You actually wrote the book. That's amazing.
I wrote the book after, yeah.
So
I was like, give me a pretty, I was like, I will write to that brief. That is inspiring.
I mean, I do want to ask, you know, what did you wish you knew before when you started publishing? What, if you could go back to when you first published?
I am actually super glad that I was ignorant. Because if I knew, if I knew how difficult it was, I think I would have been like, no, I don't think I'll succeed.
Oh.
So I think youth and ignorance was a fantastic gift to me, and everyone should hang on to that. It's like just ignorant enough that you're like, why not me? You know, and I think that is kind of a key. I think it's key in life.
You were my favorite person. You were so funny. Like, your books made me laugh, but like, you were hysterical. I'm like, can I just keep you? Like, you're so entertaining.
You're weak. So it's like, but it's true. But honestly, it's true.
Yeah.
And I think people would tell you things like, that actually makes sense to me now 10 years in. They would say, if you can be anything else other than a writer, be anything else. And I used to be like, that's vastly unencouraging. But then I'm like, I get it, because it's not a steady way to make a living. So if you're not absolutely 100% inclined toward being a writer, like maybe choose to even like sell Mary Kay, because that will probably go better. But, and if you're a writer, that shouldn't deter you. You know what I mean? It's not discouraging, because if you love it, that is what you should do. But it's like, I don't even wish I knew that. I don't wish I knew, you know, that I sold my first manuscript. But after that, when I tried to start writing longer books, I got many, many rejections. Every rejection I've had has been after publication. I still get rejections because sometimes an idea is not right for the moment, it's not right for the market. They have too many books like that on their list. It's like, and they're not personal. And at this point, I have the luxury of being rejected on a paragraph. You know, I say, this is my idea, they say no, because they know that I can write a book. So it's not, we're not evaluating a body of work. I'm not wasting time, you know, writing a book, but I'll say, what if I did this? And they'll go, no, don't do that. So it's like, I still get told no. I mean, and you always, but I think that actually, that I think is a good thing. It's just that like, no is part of it. The failure is part of it. It's not the end of it. And you're never gonna be safe from it. We've all had failure as part of our career, and we are storytellers. So you tend to hone your narrative down to the interesting bits, and you leave the failure out. And it's not necessarily because you're trying to make a prettier story, but we're storytellers, so we're making a neater narrative. But there's all kinds of things in there that are setbacks. Nobody's path to success is a straight line, and I think the acceptance of failure and success as part of the same experience is really an important place to get to, so that you know failure is not fatal and success is not permanent. So you just kind of have to be in it for the love of the books and the love of story, and then everything will be okay, because you know you can keep going, because writing is the thing that you do. And so you'll just write another book, and that's kind of my philosophy.
You're so encouraging, so eloquent. This is so inspiring, because I know I have people with AuthorTube watching my channel, and so I'm like, you're giving people hope by saying that.
Yeah, have hope. I mean, write your story. Write your story.
I mean, I'm curious, how do you deal with the rejection? I mean, how do you get out of the mindset and say, okay, like, how do you move forward?
I'm used to it now. So it's like, well, if it's not happening, it's not happening. And I think interior knowledge of publishing has really, people tell you rejection's not personal, but I think until you've really experienced the life cycle of a project, like from I have to sell it to the editor has to sell it to marketing has to sell it to sales has to sell it to stores have to sell it to customers. There's 1,000 different places in there that it could fall flat. We're not guaranteed a store will pick up a book. The sales force has to convince them to do it. It's not up to the publisher. They don't decide Maisey's books to get to go in all the stores. The sales channels
it
have
should
to
be
say
in every store, everywhere.
You know, well, I'm very lucky they are in a lot of stores, you know, but it's like the sales team tries, they can do their best, they can ignore you, so you can certainly get more or less help. But the stores say, yes, we think we can sell that, or no, we think we don't. So at the point where I'm so like intimately acquainted with that process, and I've had things where stores were like, nah, you're like, I already know at the beginning, if you say to me, I do not think we can present a strong package to marketing, I do not think we can get stores to pick that up, then I say okay.
Would you ever consider self-publishing, or is traditional the only
I mean, I would consider anything based depending on what was happening. But I am not.
I'm just curious, like, if you ever loved an idea enough where you're like, no, I need to write this.
No, because like, no, not at this point. I don't think that I would, because my readership is predominantly print-based, and because. So for me, it's like I need to be in those channels where they can get the book, and that is that's really important to me, is like that broad access to all my readers, and also like my readership is print, so it's kind of squarely in that pocket. So it's like moving to digital, I don't know that I would be very successful, because I would be cutting off the people that are interested, and less people are interested digitally in me than are interested in me in print. So it's like, so yeah, I think
Well, you can't
I think about
digital
things.
versions. I can
No.
like insert ebook covers
And
here.
I think very differently about ideas too. And I kind of, this is why I knit, right? Because it's just for me. I don't have to sell it to anyone. If I make a mistake, I go, I'll wear it anyway. I don't care. So it's only for me. But writing, I'm not creative in a vacuum anymore at this point, because I have an idea and then I think, well, how do you package that? Who is interested in that? Who is the reader for that? I'm doing a workshop about money in a little bit here, and soon, like in an hour. One of the things we're going to talk about is that a readership is a concrete thing.
Yeah.
We think kind of in very generic terms that like everyone is a potential buyer of our books, and that is not the case. There is a specific reader out there who's going to be interested in your books. It's a finite group of people. It's not infinite. And so it's like, you need to see, like, who is the reader for that? Is there a reader? Even if you're not like financially motivated, you want readers for your books.
Yeah.
So, and those things are linked. You can't really separate them.
It'd be interesting if they were separate.
Well, yeah.
And disconnect there.
Yeah, and so for me, it's like creativity is always kind of tied to that thought process. Now, creativity here.
I mean, that's a very practical, business-minded approach with creativity. Yeah. I mean, there's a way to kind of channel your creativity.
Commercial fiction is commercial fiction for a reason. You cannot separate the two.
Yeah,
you know. So it's like, I mean, many people do, but I can't. So it's like, for me, it's like it's all right there. So.
I mean, what advice do you have for someone who wants to get into that realm of publishing, or the writer in that publishing realm?
Commercial fiction.
Yeah.
I always say, plot with your head, write with your heart.
Aww.
So look critically at the market that you would like to be in. If you would like to be in the digital space, that is a different kind of book very often. It's a different readership. Like I said, there are readers that are not online. You have to reach them in a different way. They are often interested in a different kind of book than what's being discussed in the broader like book community online. They're just different readerships. They're not all the same. They have different interests. They're having different conversations, and they use their time in different ways. And so if you want to be in mass market in print, look and see what books are in the grocery stores, because that's an indicator of where these kinds of books sell. Trade paperbacks sell in a different market. Digital books sell in a different market. So look at what you want to do and say, this is where I fit, so I'm going to aim for that. And then once you've kind of figured that out, forget it and write the book with your whole heart, because you've already given yourself all the ingredients that you need. You know, you've said, I'm going to write, I know how this would look. I know the package, I know the reader, I know where it's going to go, but now what's in the book is just coming from here. So you just set yourself up for success, and then you go in with passion. And I think people do not understand those things can exist side by side, that you can be logical and you can be business minded, but you can be passionate and creative at the same time. They do not cancel each other out.
Aww. Well, like, I love all your answers. You're speaking to my reading heart over here. I mean, I have a very random fun question.
Yes.
What would be your writing spirit animal, avatar, or I mean, is there something?
It's a raccoon for sure. My avatar on Twitter right now. My avatar on Twitter right now is a raccoon. Have you seen it? And he's holding 2 cupcakes and he has one in his mouth. It's a picture, it's a painting that I have in my office of like raccoons sitting at a dinner table. I don't know if you've read Unbroken Cowboy, it's the newest one. And B has Evan the raccoon. And so right now I'm very firmly in a raccoon space.
That is such a random animal to be like, raccoon. Like, you didn't miss a single
No, I follow multiple raccoon accounts on Instagram.
That is amazing.
Paris and June and Waffles is my favorite.
You are my favorite person in the world.
I want a raccoon really bad. If anyone has a rescue raccoon that like needs a home, hit me up. I really want one, but I'm not gonna take one out of the wild.
I just pictured like the Pocahontas cartoon character.
Miko! I have a cat named Miko.
Did you name him after the raccoon?
Her name was Kimiko, and my kids couldn't say it. We got her from the Humane Society when she was like 4 years old. So we just changed it to Miko, but I was like, it's like
storks. Yeah, I'm like storks. Like, I want to give you, I wish I had known this like love of raccoon. Orders you a stuffed animal of the...
I'm obsessed. It's always a small mammal of some kind. You can ask my friends. Usually you can thematically tell in my books what I'm fixated on at any given moment, because I'll talk about like a vole or like a, I like voles. I think that word is funny. I like meerkats a lot. So basically any like kind of small animal. Right now my primary fixation is a raccoon. So
I was trying to say, I'm like, yeah, the ones I chose, none of them have horses in the background. I was looking.
I mean, there's usually horses.
Oh yeah, they're cowboys. It's gonna be
yeah, there's usually horses, but I like a smaller animal. myself. I think they're cute. I like rodents a lot.
Chipmunks? Do you like chipmunks?
I do like chipmunks, yeah.
Chipmunks, bunnies?
Yeah. My cat, I do like voles. I think they're cute. I like the word. I like often compare heroines to voles just because I think it's funny. And so, I mean, you're a writer. You just play with words, you know. So
yeah, that's why I'm like it.
My cat started bringing me dismembered voles, and I felt it was very personal. I was not impressed. Like literally, like half a vole sitting on like my doorstep. And I feel like and then we got a new cat and she was really mad about it. So she was leaving like squirrels and stuff in my son's room.
Oh my goodness.
She's a psychopath. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, I have a Labradoodle and they love everybody. He's a mini. I have 4 right now. I have a golden retriever who's like 13. I have a Labradoodle who's 2, and then I have the cats. We have Mo and Miko, and they look identical. They're tuxedo cats, and we got them like they're little like Maine Coons, and we got them both like in rescue situations, and they hate each other. We just got Mo like a couple months ago, and she hates him. So it's like they have to stay on opposite ends of the house. They hate each other. It's awful.
Oh, poor kid.
I know. They'll figure it out.
Aww.
My Labradoodle's obsessed with him. He's so cool. My poor Labradoodle is so beta, it's painful. Like he waits for the other animals to eat first and like looks at them like, can I eat?
Aww.
And I'm like, you need to grow a pair, friend. He's like, you cut them off, I can't. So it's like, don't. I know, it's
I
bad.
love you so much.
But he loves the cat. The cat is like his new alpha. Like he's like, oh, you're a god to me. And he like follows him around. And I'm like, dude, like have some pride.
I was gonna say, so this is like a perfect segue. Again, I wanted to do like the best job humanly possible for you. I have random either or questions.
Okay.
And one of them was fictional cats. But yes, I'm choosing this one. We were adding this because not that many. But when you said cats, I was like, yes. But my topic worked. My little random one.
Here we go.
Oh, okay. We got a whole lot.
Committed.
Okay, so we're going for the either or, but I want to start with fictional cats just because.
Okay.
Because you're a cat person. So the Cheshire Cat or Snowball from Stuart Little.
Oh, the Cheshire Cat for sure. I painted a picture of the Cheshire Cat on my wall when I was like 16.
We have Garfield or Hobbs.
Oh, Hobbs for sure.
And then Crookshanks or Puss in Boots.
Crookshanks.
And when you said Harry Potter before, I kind of figured.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a Starbucks person, so you're speaking my heart over here.
Yes.
I literally moved in my apartment building because it's above a Starbucks.
Excellent.
And so I don't know, how does that work? Because you're from a small town. Do you have a Starbucks?
Like a half hour away, yeah. We have to drive into town to do everything, so that's where we drive to. So
the almond croissant or the butternut bread.
Oh, no, I've never not had either one, but like I like almond croissants, so I'm gonna go with that.
Blueberry muffin or blueberry oat cake.
Oh, blueberry muffin.
Blueberry scone or cheese Danish.
Blueberry scone. I like blueberries.
Birthday cake pop or chocolate cake pop.
Oh, birthday cake.
Chocolate croissant or double chocolate brownie.
Chocolate croissant.
The confetti sugar cookie or coffee cake.
Coffee cake.
Iced lemon cake or pumpkin bread.
Iced lemon cake. I like both.
There's hand gestures with that one.
The iced lemon cake is what I used to get when I would write in Starbucks. I would get it like with a vanilla latte.
You were a Starbucks writer?
I was, yeah. I used to drive into Starbucks and write, yeah.
See, you're inspiring people. The vanilla bean scone or the old-fashioned donut.
Vanilla bean scone.
Okay, we have random either or questions.
Yeah, I'm lightning round. I know my mind.
I know, like,
so.
I mean, you're making my life easy because I'm like, I just get to like ask the questions, like get all the answers, the insights into your psyche. I had fun writing these. The alpha hero or beta hero?
Alpha hero.
I knew that one for you.
Hey, my
Shocker.
entire backlist suggests.
The bad boy or the playboy?
Bad boy.
Friends to lovers or fated mates?
Friends to lovers.
Second chance at love or first love?
First love.
Opposites attract or best friend sibling?
Oh, best friend sibling.
Arranged marriage or forbidden love?
Oh man, no, that's not fair. Because like literally both are my favorite thing in the entire world because I read historical romance.
Yes.
So it's like, I don't know, forbidden love, I guess.
Forbidden?
Marriages, yeah. But I love it also when she has an arranged marriage, but like to a duke and there's like a sexy Scotsman over there though. So like, then yeah, I like that. So forbidden love, yes.
Can we just put like sexy Scotsman? Like we need to like do that.
Sexy Scotsman.
Like there needs to be a hashtag of that.
Yes.
I don't know if there already is, but there needs to be. The guardian ward or teacher professor?
Oh, guardian ward. For sure.
Mistaken identity or secret baby?
Mistaken identity.
I already know the answer to this one. Small town or city?
Oh, small town.
Royalty or revenge?
Ooh, royalty.
Trapped in an elevator or the eyes meet across the room?
Eyes meet across the room because being trapped in an elevator is horrifying. Who would have sex when they were trapped in an elevator? Are you hyperventilate and die. You can't do it
in the world.
All right.
Tragic past or office romance?
Tragic past. Again, as my entire backlist suggests.
Yes, but you're also a reader with very specific tastes.
It's true. I like them broken and angsty.
I like them broken and angsty.
I do. I read way darker books than I write. I'm like,
I was gonna
give me
say,
edgy boys. Yeah.
Interesting. Who's your favorite edgy writer?
I love Jackie Ashenden.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I never would put you with her.
Do you know she's like one of my best friends?
Is she really?
She really is. We've been critique partners since before we were published. She's here. She's my roommate.
Is she? Oh my gosh! I'm like fangirl adjacent.
Yes, yeah.
I was like,
but yeah, no, she writes like my favorite like messed up stuff.
I mean,
and Zara Cox.
So okay, I don't think I've read her.
Oh my gosh! So if you have a high tolerance for crazy,
are we going like Sky War and Willow Winters like dark?
No, not a dark romance because I can't do that.
Yeah,
that I have a hard limit. Okay. But it's like. It's like kooky nuts, like Get on the Ride.
Okay,
like filthy, which I love. Like I really like dirty books. I don't write them as dirty as I like to read them. I read a range. I like historicals, but historicals tend to be a little darker. But yeah, so check out Zara Cox.
Okay, we like amazing. Making a mental note.
Yes,
Add this to the read list. Like I will insert the Goodreads link in the description box.
Yes.
Like we're giving shout outs. We gotta go read these people.
Yes.
Long Lost Love or Next Door Neighbor?
Long Lost Love.
Mail Order Bride or Runaway Bride?
Mail Order Bride. Beauty
and the Beast or Cinderella?
Beauty and the Beast.
The One That Got Away or The One That Never Knew You Wanted Them?
The One That Never Knew You Wanted Them, for sure.
The Anti-Hero or The Family Man?
Oh, I like an anti-hero that becomes a family man.
And then we have our final round of either or with the writing either ors. So, are you a Mac or HP?
I'm a Mac.
Pen or pencil?
Pen.
Legal pad or notebook?
Notebook.
Blue pen or black pen?
Blue pen.
Edits by hand or edits on an electronic device?
I prefer to do it by hand, but I did switch to an iPad Pro that you could mark up because I got tired of like all the paper I went through. So paper and ink, it was like, eh.
You're like,
I like a hard copy though.
Yes.
I really do because it's like this is the work that I've done. So.
I was gonna say that. I mean, that kind of
it's satisfying.
To, like,
yeah, I'm a paper person.
I was gonna say like
paper notebooks, paper. I have a paper planner with me at conference, and I've been entering everything in every day because I have to have a paper planner.
That's what I have.
That's who I am. As
oh my
a
gosh,
person.
I'm common with Maisey Yates. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Home office or going to the cafe?
Home office.
Night owl or morning person?
I have to be a morning person. I don't like to be. But my kids are in school, so. Yeah.
For the little sugar rush or caffeine boost, would you go for candy or coffee? Or caffeine?
Caffeine. I like candy. I like to do it both at the same time, but more often than not, it's just caffeine.
Word or scrivener?
Word.
Plotter or pantser?
I am both.
You're the plot. What is it?
I am the plotzer.
We already established ebook or paperback.
Yeah, paperback.
We know this one. Antagonist or protagonist?
Protagonist.
The hero or heroine?
The hero.
Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks?
Starbucks.
What comes first, plot or characters?
It's a little of both, but usually character.
And then, do you have a special writing mug or use whatever's nearby?
I have so many mugs. I am a mug ho. That's me. It is my great joy to get up in the morning and choose what mug I'm going to use. Right now, I'm super obsessed with this one I bought at Mitsukoshi in Epcot. It's a Japanese
I know
grocery
exactly
store.
What you're talking about.
And I bought one with a ninja raccoon on it, and it is my favorite thing. The mug is on Instagram, so.
Okay, I need to go look that up ASAP because
yes.
I'm also a mug person. So I'm like, I have something in common with you. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You're so sweet. I'm so appreciative that you did this and talked to me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
So guys, I'm going to ask the lovely Maisey Yates over here to sign extra copies of this particular book so we can do a giveaway, and I'll put all the information down below in the description box.
Virgin widower.
I was like, how do I describe without spoilers? And you just love like this.
I know. Well, I gave up. Like, there was a point where it was like nobody say anything, but I think it's like fairly.
I'm also like obsessed. Like again, as I like look longingly at the book cover, because I'm like, you have little presents on the thing. Like I kind of like get my eyes every time I look. I'm like, oh, and then there's this, and you have the little like indentations when you do little. Oh, I just love this cover, and it's a great book too.
And he's hot, so like it's all. Like, the model is super hot.
The model's gorgeous. I'm in love with him in the book. Like it's all good. Yay! It's all good. So I'll be giving away 2 copies. So make sure you check down below in the description box for all the details. And I am so appreciative of you. Thank you so much for talking.
Thank you for having me. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.